Hey you guys, this is Rafael from ShilohRelics.com. I hope you're all healthy. Hope you're having a good day. And I was beginning to wonder if we were going to get one of these done today because thankfully you guys have kept me busy shipping out shipments all morning. I really want to thank you for your continued support in business and watching these videos and sharing these videos and all of your kind comments because I am so appreciative for each one of you. I hope you know that. I saw something funny. A friend of mine, Linda Dyer, just sent me a little picture and it said, I wonder if my mama's offer to slap me into next year still stands. Some of us have felt that way this year, but hey, we're all here. It's going to be all right and things are going to get better. We're going to talk about something that I enjoy today. It is collecting Civil War stuff. And we're going to talk about one of the mainstays of a Civil War collection. The Civil War in the early days was fought with outdated and obsolete weapons a lot. They were using what they had, what was in the arsenals when the war broke out, because they had sent people to Europe to buy things to bring over to equip the soldiers quickly, but a lot of it hadn't made it yet. So they gave them what they had. And what they had was the old, almost antique guns that were heavy, cumbersome. This is one of those guns that they fought the early days of the war with. This is the US Model 1816 musket. And they have a special place in history because this is the largest production U.S. long arm that had a flintlock design in history. The government bought hundreds of thousands of them. This one was made in Springfield, which was the most famous of all arsenals. And with this model, they made 325,000 of them at Springfield. So they were cranking them out. This one would have actually been originally made in 1838. It's a model 1816, but they made them up afterwards. And they made them, this one in 1838. There were several companies that made this model. Springfield and Harper's Ferry were the most famous and most popular with collectors most of the time. This one, as you see here, has the Springfield maker's mark on the lock plate behind the hammer, and it also has the production date of 1838. In front of the hammer, we have a couple of things. We have the Union Eagle, which is also accompanied by the US stamping, and above that, you see the little brass piece that sticks out there? That is where it originally had a flintlock mechanism. They took these guns in and before the war and some in the early days of the war because flintlock was way obsolete. And they switched it to percussion, meaning that instead of using the flint, you actually had what they call a nipple or a cone. You'll hear it called both ways. When you cock the gun back, the cone, and this is actually referred to as a Belgian style cone in barrel conversion. They, instead of replacing the whole breech of the barrel, they filled in the hole where the flint spark entered and ignited the cartridge and added what was known as a cone, or commonly referred to as a nipple. They also on the barrel will have the inspector marks where the barrel was originally viewed and proofed. You'll see a lot of times you'll see an eagle stamp, and you'll also see a V&P for viewed and proofed. And that way they know that it was good enough to keep in military service. If you remember from the earlier videos, we talk about a tang of a barrel, and that's the piece that plugs the end of the back of the barrel, and it also attaches the back of the barrel to the stock. And the stock's just the wood piece. This one's walnut that the barrel sits in. This one has the matching and correct 1838 date. And that's important because people like to know that it's the barrel that went with the lock. And a lot of times when they converted them, they didn't really care. You'll see mixed dates on those. But it is nice to have them matching. The barrel on these is 42 inches long. It measures a bullet on the inside of 69 caliber, and like we talked about before, that's 0.69 1/100ths of an inch, or 69 caliber. Smooth bore. Later on, when they did some conversions on some of these, they did rifle the barrels, but not many of them, and those will bring a little bit of a premium. The gun fires a simple round musket ball, a 69 caliber round musket ball, and you think, with all the rifles that they had during the Civil War, surely they didn't use many of them. Several years ago, I was fortunate enough to get to do an archaeological dig on Shiloh with metal detectors. The Park Service was going to put in a rest area by the Indian mounds on Shiloh National Battlefield. If you hadn't been to Shiloh, you need to go. It is absolutely one of the most beautiful places in all of creation. Sits right on the Tennessee River. It was pretty enough that centuries ago the Indians knew it was pretty enough to live there. There are Indian mounds. Shiloh means place of peace in Hebrew, and it's kind of ironic that such a beautiful, peaceful place was the site of such carnage. April 6th and 7th, 1862, it was some of the fierce fighting the world had ever seen. There was a letter one time that I read from a soldier from Gettysburg, and he's writing home and he's telling them how horrible Gettysburg was, and he said, "But Mom, at least I wasn't as scared as I was at Shiloh." And that says a lot from somebody that saw Gettysburg. But back to my story. Sorry, I took a tangent. I'm known to do that from time to time. But let's go back to the other tangent I was taking. We were metal detecting on the park there. And we started digging 69 caliber musket balls. And it was so cool because you could actually line up where those soldiers were. And they were sitting there and they were firing. And it was a Union position. These guys up north had them. The Confederates, some of them were still fighting with flintlocks and shotguns. So you could line up those musket balls, and they did it on a satellite map, and you could see that line of soldiers, and you could just imagine them shooting across the field. And it was also cool because just a few steps behind that line of musket balls, there was a line of pistol bullets where the officers were instructing their men. And it was so cool putting all that together and seeing it on a map. So thank you for the Park Service letting us do that. There's a lot of history that can be brought to life by a metal detector. And it's not always somebody just trying to break in and steal something. They let us do an amazing project that learned a lot. I learned a lot. We were about ready to get to break for lunch, and we were walking back to the truck, and I get this sound, and it goes boom, and it's just blaring loud. And one of the park rangers that wasn't very happy that we were there, he said, "It's probably a beer can lost during the Civilian Conservation Corps." And I dug up that beer can, and it turned out to be an Eagle breastplate. And it was the only plate that we found all day. And an Eagle breastplate goes on the soldier's cartridge box. So it was probably on one of those shoulders of the guys that was firing this musket. And the one you see here is an Eagle breastplate, just so you'll know what I'm talking about. But I found it, and I found it right there. Is about that far from the road. And it was such a rush to see that roll out of the ground on Shiloh. Now, back to this gun that we started off 3 tangents ago. These are the Model 1816. You want to see the matching dates. You want to see the barrel be full length. They cut a lot of these down for use as shotguns after the war. Actually, Sears and Roebuck sold a version of this that was trimmed down to a shotgun, and it will mention around turn of the century, antique military gun turned in to shotgun. So you don't want to see them altered that way. This is the style that you like to see, and they're a great thing to collect because compared to a lot of the muskets and rifles from the time, these are very affordable. A nice whole musket, everything there is going to start around $600 or $700 and usually top out in the $1,200 to $1,500 range. So it's a lot of gun for that kind of money. This one is very pretty. It's complete. The action, as you saw, still works. And it's available on ShilohRelics.com. I've got a lot of other muskets in there. I try to get something in all price ranges because I like it all, and there have been days where I couldn't collect the expensive stuff, and I still love them every bit as much. The musket balls that go in them are a few dollars a piece. You can buy those and someday add the musket to go with it. And I sell all of that because I understand all levels of collecting, because I've been a collector of all levels. If I can help you guys with this gun or any other, let me know. Got it set up where you can go in and order everything online. And if you sign up on our website as a visitor or customer, it will also allow you to get the emails that I send out. Ever so often I'll send one out with 20 or 28 different items that I've either picked up or is a special collection, and you'll get some extra information on those. You can do that on the website, which is shilohrelics.com. I would like to say 1 second, I'm so proud of the church that I attend. I go to Cumberland Presbyterian Church in Savannah, Tennessee, and our pastor, Helen Hamilton, she's a wonderful lady. She gives of herself to anybody that needs help in any way. And she has helped with a lot of other help, a lot of wonderful people. I don't have a chance to name them all. They've started the table. And the table is a thing where if you don't have money to eat, you come in and you'll get fed. And you can pay for it either with money or you can pay for it with your time. And they have helped a lot of people. And we have a chef that cooks, and it is absolutely wonderful food. But it's in Savannah, Tennessee. It's called The Table. And there's something that they say that every time I think about it, it makes me feel special. They say everybody is welcome at the table. And these are wonderful people doing wonderful things. And it is actually separate from my church, but Helen, our pastor, is the one that is the driving force behind it. And I am thankful for the table. Everybody deserves a spot at the table. Everybody should be welcome at the table. And I hope you know that when you get a chance to show somebody that kindness, that you take it, because we are never guaranteed tomorrow. And I'm thankful for today. I'm thankful for you guys. I hope that y'all have a wonderful day, and I hope you remember that you're loved. Catch you next time.